Welcome to a historic date, September 19th, 2023. Why is this so historic? Well, it took place while many of us were still in bed.
I see there are no comments or objections, and I therefore declare the draft decision 45Com 8B.47 adopted. Congratulations to the United States of America and House of the entire committee.
There you see the representation of those for Hopewell National Monument and the dedication of the Ohio Earthworks and designation being decided by the World Heritage Committee.
This goes back a number of years that people have been working for this day.
I was thinking it was like 15 years, but it's been, as Chief Glenna Wallace in her remarks mentions, it's 20 years.
Wow.
That they've been working on this. And I remember when Randy Davies was in the radio station about 7 or 8 years ago, he says, it's not a matter of when this is going to happen or if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to fruition today from the prophet, Randy Davies.
But the first one in Ohio.
Yeah.
And only the 25th ever in the United States.
Incredible, isn't it?
That really is.
What's the magnitude of this? We'll find out for sure in the coming days, the coming months, the coming years. But from what we're being told, there is in Illinois another World Heritage site. And for the life of me, I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's similar to the Ohio Earthworks. And I was told that their average visitation was around 50 to 60,000 per year, much like what we have here for Hopewell National Monument in a historical park. But it increased to 250,000 per year. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
And now we're projected to see something like that happening here.
And in the Newark area, which is also a part of all of this.
And down around Lebanon, Fort Ancient. So they'll go and see Fort Ancient, and then they'll discover Kings Island, I'm sure.
Hopefully they get past Kings Island and come on up.
And they'll come up here, and then they'll experience Tecumseh. They'll stay in our hotels. They'll come shop in our shops. And next thing you know, the world will be on our doorstep.
Literally. And Melody Young of the Ross Chillicothe Convention and Visitors Bureau will be here at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning with a special edition of Literary Media Live to talk about all this.
Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about it as well. Plus, I have prepared here, if we didn't approve this with Mike Smith, but, he's just the eye candy for the program. But I have the entire speech that Chief Wallace made. So we'll share that for folks here in just a moment, because it was about 5:27 this morning when the doctor there, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was the chic-looking guy. He's the one that said congratulations. And I was kind of surprised because I was watching what was going on with one of the designations prior to the Ohio Earthworks, and there was such scrutiny. They were going through, the delegation from Mexico thinks this, and then they would have Italy speak, and then another country would speak. And it seemed like, oh, man, they're going to rake this across the coals. And it got down to it, and basically he looks up and he says, I see no one making a comment, no objections. Congratulations, United States. And it was smooth as silk.
Maybe this is the advantage of going near to the end. Everybody's so tired. Yeah, give it to them. It all counts, Bo. It all counts.
Absolutely. So congratulations. I remember was a Bruce Lombardo was in studio with us one time talking about how our Ohio Earthworks should be held in the same distinction as the Egyptian pyramids.
Yeah. That's saying something, yeah.
Today's the day.
Today's the day.
Congratulations. All right. That's the big news. Let's talk about the other stuff making news.
Yeah.
Like the weather.
Some weather. It's going to look nice again for the next several days. Sunny skies today with a high of 75. A little warmer tomorrow with a high of 81. Not really talking about much rain in the forecast until possibly Sunday over the weekend.
Can handle that.
But we're still technically in a drought.
We are. Yeah.
Last Friday when you were gone, we brought that map up and showed that.
I saw the image. I was watching the show, and I thought, Mike Smith.
Yeah. Well, when your lawn
land
is green, you think, well, we're okay, but technically we're in just a little bit of a drought, a moderate drought they call it. So.
And my tomatoes are still growing, so we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because of the water hose. You're out there every evening like me, helping out there. So.
Well, I have coaxed it along a little bit.
Yeah, that didn't hurt.
All right, on the way, we'll take a look at more news because there are other things going on across the Scioto Valley. And we'll also look at sports. Tough one last night.
Wow. Ouch.
We'll talk about it. You maybe already know what we're going to mention, but we'll have that for you coming up here shortly. First, I want to tell you about Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor for nearly 50 years now. They can take care of it when it's too cold, when it's too hot, when it's wet. That's their specialty. Heating, cooling, and plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. Accurate. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com, and it'll take you right to their website where you can learn more about their services. News next.
As a professional race car driver, I live for speed, power, and performance on and off the track. That's why I use the Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower. Race into your local dealership today and test drive a new Dixie Chopper.
Whenever I first applied for the Archways opportunity, oh, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
So what's making news for us across the Scioto Valley today? Well, the big news, as we were leading about a moment ago, the U.S. Interior Department submitted the Hopewell Culture National Historical Park for World Heritage distinction, and it received that distinction this morning. And the U.S. Ambassador to Saudi Arabia is Michael Rantley, and he, or is it Ratley? One or the other. He introduced Chief Glenna Wallace of the Shawnee tribe, the Eastern Shawnee, which is what was in our part of Ohio. They now are settled in Oklahoma, but she was there to accept the designation.
On behalf of the U.S. delegation, I would like to thank the members of the World Heritage Committee for the inscription of Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks to the World Heritage List. That sounds so wonderful to say out loud. I'd also like to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for being such a gracious host for this event, and in particular recognize the chair for his leadership of this committee. We appreciate the professionalism of ICOMOS and their work in evaluating this nomination. I'd like to acknowledge the many people who've contributed to this nomination, including the dedicated staff at the National Park Service and the Ohio History Connection who care for these sites. Now, I'd like to turn the floor over to a representative of the people to whom this means the most, the Native Americans who are descended from the builders of the earthworks. Chief Glenna Wallace of the Eastern Shawnee Tribe of Oklahoma, please take the floor.
Thank you. Today, 8 remarkable earthworks in Ohio, built by our Native American ancestors some 2,000 years ago, have now been officially designated a World Heritage Site. After nearly 20 years working toward this goal, my immediate reaction is to shout, and to shout with joy. But at the same time, my eyes are moist with tears, and my lips, my chin, and my voice tremble. My exhilaration is coupled with reflection as I am so humbled, so honored, and so thankful that the world at long last recognizes the commitment, the spirituality, the knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, art, geology, and aesthetic vision resulting in the imaginative thinking used by our ancestors to create these magnificent earthworks. They were not just geniuses, they were uncommon geniuses. Their genius lives on today in many descendant tribes, including the Seneca Nation, the Miami Nation, the Bokagan Band of Potawatomi, and the Wyandot Nation, who have also sent representatives here with us today. I am so thankful for the many, many individuals and organizations that helped make this inscription a reality. We are honored and immensely blessed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again.
Dr. Abdullah Al-Takis, I think is how you say his name there. But it was really interesting to see all of that taking place this morning. It was almost as if like waiting for the Nobel Peace Prize to be announced or something like that.
Right.
Something taking place in another part of the world, and hearing them say in the presentation, Ross County was out of this world.
Yeah.
It just, boom, my mind blew.
Yeah, somebody you know that was doing something very big. And as Dan said earlier, this means big things for our area communities, again, because it does stretch up into the Heath and Newark areas. And there's going to be a lot of tourists from literally all around the world that are going to be coming here. So get your smiles on, folks, and welcome our visitors.
And tomorrow when Melody Young is here, perhaps she may review or announce again about the preparation that the Convention and Visitors Bureau was putting together. Pamphlets, things that you can be able to read to be able to know what to expect and be able to help these visitors learn about our community when they come here. Now, something we've not mentioned is October 14th is the day that they plan to celebrate this. So Saturday, October 14th will be a big, big day, probably rivaling what it was like on the bicentennial day of 2003. So big, big day
All
today.
right. So hang on to that, and Melanie will be here at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning in a special edition to talk more details. City of Chillicothe announces the following parking lot paving schedule. The Elks parking lot on West 2nd Street will be paved this week. That is the 20th and 21st. And then the head of Yoctangi Park at Water and Paint, that parking lot will be paved on the 21st and 22nd, which is, of course, Thursday and Friday. Work hours each day will be 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Now, they're not talking a whole lot about traffic restrictions. However, because there's going to be a lot of asphalt trucks coming in and out of there, don't be surprised if there might be a little bit of traffic tie-ups. Applications are due this Friday for girls 15 through 18 for the Bainbridge Fall Festival of Leaves pageant. Girls must attend any of the following schools to qualify: Paint Valley, McLean, Huntington, Unioto, Adena, Hillsborough, Zane Trace, Chillicothe, Southeastern, or Western. But again, get those applications in by no later than this Friday.
There is a $10 application fee. That's something that we didn't tell you here, but if you go to the Fall Festival of Leaves website, which is a new address, it's bainbridgeoh.com, and that will take you to where you can find everything about anything going on at the Fall Festival pageant, not only the pageant, but the Little Miss pageant and the parades and all that stuff. You'll find it all there on that website. I have insider information because I'm emceeing the pageant again this year.
Yes.
So
Get that tux ready.
yes.
Yes, sir. More big news. This involves the Miami Valley, but as we've seen over the years with any big new manufacturing facility, there are spin-off businesses that could stretch all the way over into the Scioto Valley. Joby Aviation Incorporated will build an electric air taxi manufacturing facility at the Dayton International Airport, creating 2,000 new jobs. Joby, Ohio's new assembly line manufacturing will build, test, and fly all-electric vertical takeoff and landing air taxis that will be predominantly used by commercial passenger operations. Now, these things, if you've seen them, I think some of the TV stations were showing them this morning, it'll hold a pilot and 4 passengers. So I guess, Dan, you and I may be doing the Jetsons here
Wow.
before you know it.
So this is the flying car that we've been waiting on.
Yes, literally a flying car, but it can travel up to 200 miles per hour for about a 100-mile range. But, again, this is in the Dayton area, but as we've often seen, there are spin-off businesses that are supplier of parts and so forth. Right. Don't be surprised to see that as close as Fayette, and who knows, maybe even Pickaway or Ross County. In Washington Courthouse, another street closing. This is Court Street, will be closed this coming Thursday. And then the next 6 days after that, they're doing some construction work on the bridge there. That's between the KFC and the Dairy Queen. And just be noting that in case you are wanting to travel through the downtown, you might want to pick an alternate route. When
I saw you post this on our Twitter page, I thought to myself, wait a second, Paint Creek is a street now?
Nope. That's
not the case.
You don't spend a lot of time in Washington Courthouse, apparently. Yeah. Scioto Trail State Park invites everyone to join in on celebrating Harvest Days. The two-day event will take place September 22nd and 23rd at the park. Those camping are reminded to display their scarecrow on the edge of the campsite for the Scarecrow Decorating Contest. Come to the Chillicothe City Pool parking lot, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. this Saturday. No appointment is needed for a free car seat safety check from the Ross County Health District's Certified Child Passenger Safety Technicians. Ensure that your existing car seat is safe and properly installed. There's more information by contacting the health district that you can find as well as on our social media sites.
I am still convinced that whoever manufactures these things have never had to put them into a car.
Yeah. I remember you talking about this a couple of months ago. That's why they keep having these clinics to help everybody out. The faith-based organization Foothold International is hosting its second annual Wanderlust Gala October the 5th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Postmark in Chillicothe. That's here in Chillicothe. And you've got the folks that started all of this coming in here soon.
Yeah, they'll be in tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Be visiting with Brad and Sherry Catron, and here's another event that I'll be emceeing. So it's coming up October 5th, and they last year had it, I think, at the NAS, and so they're having it at the Postmark this year. And so if you're not familiar with where the Postmark is, that's the old post office.
Yes.
On Payne Street.
And their nonprofit, of course, based in Chillicothe, aims to empower women in Kenya, over in Africa. A couple has worked in East Africa for 2 decades, focusing on community development through water, sanitation, hygiene, and education projects.
Early in the days of Litter Media, we had Brad in to talk about the sanitization process that they go through and sterilization of water and everything, or purification, I'd say, of water. And it's a rather unique story. If you've never seen it or heard what they are doing in Kenya, take a look at our YouTube channel and just type in Brad Catron, and it'll pop right up for you there. Yeah, on Litter Media, of course.
One other note, the Chillicothe VA Medical Center is partnering with the city of Wellston to bring VA services closer to veterans who need them in that Jackson County community. Starting in October, the medical mobile unit will be stationed at the depot that's on South Railroad Avenue in Wellston every Monday and open for business. Now, the grand opening for this new initiative will be held October the 2nd, which is a Monday, at the Railroad Depot, kicking off at 10 a.m. Road report for today in Pickaway County, State Route 674 between US 22 and Lithopolis Road will have daily lane restrictions that's 7 to 7 through the end of this month, which is, of course, September. And there you have your topics for today.
We will take a look at sports on the way next, and today being Tuesday, it's our Revolutionary Moment Day. And can you give us a teaser?
A famous early battle that we remember when you hear the name to this date that we didn't win.
Is Archie Bunker involved?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not personally, but
well, there might have been an Archie.
A namesake, yes.
Might have been an Archie Bunker there somewhere. Details are coming up after sports. But first I want to get to tell you about, and you mentioned the Scioto Trails just a moment ago, Gearhart Farms, who Carl Gearhart, of course, is the man behind Scioto Valley Dumpsters. They have donated some hay bales for this large, and they've painted them white and turned them like a Holstein cow. And they're these huge hay bales, and it's a photo display that you can have your picture taken in front of these bales at the Scioto Trails Park this weekend. So wanted to give Carl a shout out for that. But they do other things too, like dumpsters. They'll bring dumpsters to you, 740-253-8389. If you've got all those Halloween decorations that you want to clean up and throw out, you can do that in a dumpster. And look, they're orange, so that you've already got part of the decoration done. Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389, whether it be residential or commercial. Make sure you check in with Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389. Sports on the way next.
You asked, we delivered. New Mike's Hard Lemonade Zero Sugar. Zero sugar. Amazing taste. Years in the making. Now that's a drink worthy of the name Mike.
At Rathkamp Financial, we believe in building client relationships for the long term, guiding you through the stages of wealth with a plan and bringing you closer to reaching your financial dreams. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust with our customized investment solutions. At Rathkamp Financial, we offer customized investment solutions and superior client service. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
I thought we'd give them a little extra PR today because, they help us with the Intermedia Radio on game night.
That's correct.
So,
you are correct, sir.
Yes, Rathkamp Financial Services and also McDonald's.
I'm loving it.
There's the cue. Sports.
Oh, you forgot Hometown Motors Incorporated.
Oh, I did forget.
Boss, I didn't forget.
I apologize.
Sports. Miami Trace Lady Panthers are the FAC Girls Golf Champs for 2023. They wrapped up that 18-hole title match yesterday at Buckeye Hills Country Club, which is just right outside of Greenfield.
Which you can see, by the way, all that story on our website.
Yes, sir. They came up with a score of 421. McLean was the runner-up. Now, Jackson's Aubrey Arnold won match medalist honors with a 75. That's Aubrey on the far left there. And that makes her also the player of the year with the other selections in this order. Faith Wynn of Washington, Emily Reeves of Miami Trace, Morgan Webb of Chillicothe, Emma Yoakum of Hillsborough, Kaylin Sterning of McLean, and Chillicothe's Addison Smith. Congratulations to all of those young ladies. Now, the FAC Boys Championship is taking place right now as we speak up at the Chillicothe Country Club. AP High School Football Poll, teams in our area, Division III. Hamilton Township, ranked number 15 this week. Bloom Carroll is number 16. Division IV, Sheridan is 4th. Logan Elm is 10th. Ironton in Division V is number 6. Eastern Meigs in Division 7 is number 4, and Eastern Pike is number 17. Now, the computer rankings, I believe, come out either this afternoon or tomorrow, and those are the ones that count because that's how you get to the postseason.
Yeah, this is basically just riders, right?
Yes.
And what do they know, right?
Yeah. Speaking of the OHSAA, yesterday they announced the divisional breakdowns for the upcoming 2024 spring sports season. Now, basically, this really only impacts baseball and softball, which are under the competitive balance data from the previous season. All of the other sports that are held in the spring will continue with the same division assignments that they had last year. Now, the only changes that I was able to find, Peebles is the only area softball team that'll see a change, going from Division 4 to 3. In baseball, Piketon gets bumped from Division III up to Division II. So those were the only close-by schools that are going to be seeing a change in baseball and softball. Game of the week coming up.
Litter Media extras are available on our YouTube channel, and you can see the bands participate, both the Westfall and Paint Valley bands, the cheerleaders, as you see there. The majorette, she's the one in the hood there. She was playing up to the camera. What a night this kid had. Braylon Robertson, 231 yards, and he just bowled over everybody. So if you want to catch up what happened this past weekend, you can find that now on our YouTube channel. And getting ready for this week, it's the Chillicothe Cavaliers hosting Hillsboro.
Yeah, I was looking this information up over the weekend. Hillsboro comes in with an overall record of 2-3, Chillicothe 1-4. Now remember, this is the opening game of the conference season in the FAC. But just comparing schedules, the teams that have beaten Hillsboro have a combined record of 10-5. The teams that have beaten Chillicothe have a combined record of 17-2.
Yeah.
2 of those teams are 5-0. A couple of others are 4-1. One is 3-1.
Strength of schedule. Huh?
I think you'd say that, yes. And I can't say for sure, but maybe one of the injured players that the Cavs had a few weeks ago might
be ready to rock and roll. Look out.
But we'll find more about that on our preview show Thursday.
It is also alumni night, and if you are a CHS alumnus and you played football, were in the marching band, or a cheerleader, they are looking for your participation. So if you've not seen this, Taylor Bonner, she is the one you need to get in contact with on the cheerleader side, as well as the football player side. But Michelle Turon, they've been rehearsing for the marching band as well. I will not be playing in the marching band this year.
So you have in the past?
I have in the past, but I'll not. Despite not being a Chillicothe graduate, they did permit me to bring my horn. And at that time, I was working out. I was on the treadmill all the time. And,
so this wasn't something you were not invited back to.
No, this was something I worked myself out of.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. All right.
But we will be there Friday night with Litter Media Radio, and I'll have the Litter Media cameras there too.
Okie doke. This was painful in more ways than one last night. The Browns actually were favored in this ball game, but lose in Pittsburgh 26-22, but lose running back Nick Chubb to a very nasty, nasty leg injury.
4 turnovers in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And I still am trying to grasp what happened last night.
It wasn't pretty.
No.
I mean, after Chubb went down, it's just kind of like they were in a state of shock for about the next 3 or 4 possessions.
And the fan base was at a state of shock.
Yeah.
You know?
And T.J. Watt, he was shocking in the way he played against the Browns. I mean, he was awesome.
He and, help me remember the linebacker's name.
Not Fitz. No, he was a defensive back, Fitzpatrick.
I can see the kid right now in front of me, but I can't think of his name. But he played lights out as well.
But didn't they have 2 defensive returns for scores?
Yeah, off the first play of the game was a tipped pass, and it turns into be a interception, pick 6. And then the linebacker, I'm failing to remember his name, he's the one that popped the ball loose on Deshaun Watson. It was scooped up by
T.J. Watt. Yeah.
And he takes it back, scores the touchdown. And that was the deciding factor. And they wouldn't have been in that position if Donovan Peoples-Jones would have fielded the punt.
Yeah.
That he let get behind him at the 30-yard line, and it rolled to the 5.
Right.
And it was just a comedy of errors. It was not easy.
I know we have a lot of Steeler fans out there. So
who felt like Browns fans this morning felt last week in their debut against the 49ers.
Right.
So, but they didn't lose a big cog in the offense. Now the question is, is Kareem Hunt still in speed dial for Andrew Barry's phone? And was he on the phone with him after Nick Chubb got hurt last night?
Or soon after, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they need some help in that position.
That they do.
Now, there was some good news to tell you about. The Redlegs win
Yes.
last night over the Twins, and every game is important from here on out. I think the Marlins were winning, so if they
lost.
Oh, so they got beat.
Yes.
So the Reds pushed past them again.
The Reds find themselves percentage points out behind the Cubs. But you know what? If the Cubs lose again and the Reds win again, the Reds leapfrog the Cubs second place in the league.
That'd be all
or in
right.
the division.
Which would move them up in the wild card,
Right.
and then the Cubs would be in that last spot. So,
Well, the on the bubble, they're the first ones out. Is that what you mean by last spot?
There's 3 wild card teams that
Right.
get in. But the Cubs right now are ahead of Cincinnati in that
Correct.
position. So if the Cubs would lose and the Reds win, we pass them, but the Cubs could still be on the bubble in that third slot.
Right, and the Reds are the first ones looking in from the outside.
Correct.
At this point in time. So,
But they're back at it again tonight in Cincinnati, and then I think the wrap-up is an
It's the
afternoon
afternoon.
game.
Yeah.
So go Reds.
You betcha. And the Guardians lost last night, 6-4.
They're done.
Yeah, they're
the fork is dangling out of them.
They have no shot.
Yeah, they're way under 500. And the Twins, of course, is the team that was ahead of them. So, and I think they were 7.5 ahead of Cleveland going into last night. So
I was flipping back and forth between the Browns game and the Reds last night, and I was happy to get to see Kyle Farmer. And he was in uniform for the Twins last night. He was 0-3, and when I turned it on, top of the ninth inning, he had a run-scoring double. So congratulations to Kyle Farmer, and I was okay with that.
I don't know if you had this yesterday, that the Blue Jackets have already gotten rid of their new coach.
And yesterday was media day. So, and the Blue Jackets didn't get rid of him. He got rid of himself.
Well, they said it was a
resigned.
mutual agreement between management, because management said they, quote, this is what they were saying this morning.
So hand in your resignation, or
we take responsibility for not doing due diligence or something on this. I don't know, but it was just kind of an odd situation altogether.
The Columbus Dispatch headline yesterday, or maybe it was Sunday night, was talking about Mike Babcock was the right guy to turn the Blue Jackets into a winner. But in the same respect, Mike Babcock was not the right guy to hire for Columbus. Yeah. So go figure.
And apparently there's more there that we don't know about, and we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. When the NHL Players Association got involved, that's where you start. And the closest thing I thought about to that recently would have been Urban Meyer's situation down in Jacksonville.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah. So, all right, on the way, our revolutionary moment and this date in history. We'll explain coming up right after these words.
It's time to get serious about your lawn. It's time to step up to the best mower brand money can buy. For nearly 4 decades, Skag has been the easy choice for lawn care professionals. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best when it comes to mowing your lawn. There's sure to be a Skag model that's perfect for your yard, big or small. Make your lawn the envy of the neighborhood. Visit your local Skag dealer today. Skag, simply the best.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
that's our quick reminder that Melody Young will be in tomorrow from the Ross Chillicothe Convention as Visitors Bureau. She also has ties with the Ohio History Connection.
Mm-hmm.
And I was texting with her at 5:30 this morning.
I hope she was awake.
She was awake.
Yeah.
She was watching
okay.
the World Heritage Committee in its meeting. And I texted in caps, yes, exclamation point, and she responded immediately.
Yeah.
So
I'm in costume for this routine today. I'm wearing my Ben Franklin's for this Revolutionary War moment. The first major battle of the war, the Battle of Bunker Hill, was fought on June 17th of 1775, primarily on Breed's Hill in Charlestown, Massachusetts. Although the British won this battle, the hard-fought action proved that the colonists could stand up against the British Empire. So if you were half awake during your history lessons and thought we won Bunker Hill, we did not, but maybe a moral victory in that fight.
was this don't shoot till you see the whites of their eyes?
That I don't know. I think that might have been Aaron's shaking his head. Yes,
thank
he
you.
was paying attention. Where
yes.
I don't know if Marvin Seifang mentioned that one in our class, but
Well, warfare back then, I mean, look, they're all structured in their lines and all this kind of
nobody's
stuff.
hiding. They're just standing out in the open shooting at each other.
And I'd want to be the guy in the back, you know.
Exactly.
I'll
Or
play the
drummer.
drum. Yeah.
Play the drum. The guy that was the flag bearer, he was kind of out there in the open. You know. Poor guy. Yeah. And sometimes the drummer was like a teenager.
If that.
Yeah. So
sometimes little guys.
Yes, sir.
This date in history.
How about this?
Happy birthday to WBEX. September 19th, 1947 was the first transmission on the air.
Wonder what the words were. Or was it a song? Or does anyone ever told us what it was?
I've never heard.
Well, I can remember the late Will Parr telling us what they did on WSRW. They played Wayward Wind.
Oh, yeah?
Gogi Grant. That's why they were playing that when he signed off for the last time.
I see.
But I've never heard anybody say what WBEX was.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. 1947 to today, so what is that, 70s?
Aaron, what's the math on that?
66?
By the way, we keep referring to Aaron. Have we introduced Aaron to anybody
We've
yet?
not.
Okay.
Aaron's kind of not. We've got one more piece of paperwork to
so he's
hand
not
in
official yet.
to truly be official. It's
That's
sitting
why
over
you're
there next
taking him
my
to lunch
computer
today,
there.
right?
So.
Just to break the news to him, yeah.
We can say that we've expanded our team, and but he doesn't have an access code to the building yet. None of that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So he's still wet behind the ears, but freshly out of college, and we'll introduce him later this week.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Very good.
That way he's not real nervous when he gets on camera.
Oh, he won't be nervous. He's a pro. He had a radio show in college, I understand.
Is that right?
Yeah. Wolfman Jack or something like that. I can't remember what they called him. He probably had never heard of Wolfman Jack.
But WBEX, where it started for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I hold this license plate thanks to Dr. Eric Brown.
Dr. Brown.
Who said, I happened to see this on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I got to have it.
Yeah.
I think it cost me $25.
Oh, was that all? I thought he would have probably held you up for a lot more than that.
Well,
he wasn't selling it.
He wasn't the
seller.
seller.
Oh, okay.
He saw it.
I got you.
And said, you got to have it. And he said, you're right. Absolutely. That week, Chillicothe played Washington Courthouse in football. And prior to WBEX carrying the broadcasts, they would have someone with a megaphone at the Chillicothe Gazette building.
Really?
And they would phone in from the road reports. They would report from the road via telephone what had happened, and then someone would be there at the Gazette and say, so-and-so just scored a touchdown. That's how they broadcasted the games back then. And then WBEX went on the air. And from what I read about this game in particular, Chillicothe won, I believe it was 7-6 on a controversial touchdown, and they got the extra point.
How about that?
Yeah, and I assume it was played at Gardner Park. I don't know if it was, if Gardner Park was around in 1947.
I wouldn't be surprised that it was.
Yeah. I marched there in the band when I was in high school, and I pulled a hamstring there during a track meet.
I thought you were going to say, while you were in the marching band.
Never pulled a hamstring while in the marching band, but now here's, people make fun of marching bands.
I have never made fun.
As Mike has displayed here already this morning. Back when I was in the marching band, we didn't do the stride step very much, and most of it is done now as the stride step. We did the chair step, and the chair step, you had to bring those knees up, just like Ohio State has done over the years. Now, they've kind of gone to a stride with all those funky designs they make on the field. But we would chair step during the parades as well. So today when you see a marching band come through in a parade, it's usually they're just sauntering their way through. But we were considered athletes in that aspect. And I remember getting a cramp in my hamstring in the pumpkin show parade, and I could not march. I was doing my best to struggle my way through. It was one thing to play, but then knowing that every time my left foot needed to move, I was going, ah! But I made it through the parade.
I was not in the band, but if I had been, my great concern would have been having a horn or something in my mouth and running into the guy in front of me. That would have been bad.
Well, and I was a trombonist, and you've got a horn that's this long, and there have been times when you come out of the parade rest and you pull the horn up like that. You've seen the marching band say, and up. Well, they're bringing the instruments up. And if you're too close to somebody, boom, you get a slide in the back of the head or something. Yeah.
I hate that.
So next time you watch, and Ohio State did not used to use the slide trombone. It was around, I think, 1984, 85, because they used the trombonium, which is a valved instrument. Looks like a big flugelhorn type thing. And so when you do Script Ohio now with the trombone, slide trombones, first of all, when they do make their transitions, they drop their instruments down and snap them back up. So when you see them cross, like where the H is being made, they'll snap it down, then bring it back up. With a trombone, that is very noticeable. And you got to do it in time, or else you're going to take somebody out with the horn.
I hope you're taking notes, folks. There will be a test on this tomorrow.
Okay.
Aunt Ruth was probably following you because she was in the band. Yeah.
And I've mentioned this before my broadcast career ever became a dream, I was intended on being a band director.
Yes.
And, speaking of the trombone, see that paperclip right
yes,
there?
Yes, I do.
Slide that thing over here.
You want the paperclip.
If you've ever noticed, sometimes when you take a look at the paper clips, you'll see how it looks almost like a trombone slide. Well, if you take a look, sometimes in French, it will say on the box, trombonist. Or maybe that's Spanish, I don't know. But that's the paper clip.
Gotcha.
In that language, it's a trombone.
So your dream of being
the closest instrument to the human voice.
A band director was foiled because the Lord said, you have to work with this other guy here for 30 years. This is your punishment.
This is my penance having to do with this. All right, that's it for the program today. We got a full lineup for you tomorrow. Brad and Sherry Catron come in for a special edition at 9 o'clock. We'll have Melody Young in as our representative for, is it Pickaway or Fairfield County tomorrow?
Fairfield.
Fairfield County's turn, but we had an opening, and this is bigger than Fairfield County.
Well, it'll be everywhere.
Yeah,
so.
and so Melody will be in for that. And, of course, we'll have this show for you as well. We've got a couple of coach interviews to do, getting ready for the pregame show coming up on Thursday. So tomorrow's going to be a busy, busy day. Don't take tomorrow off.
Oh, I forgot to tell you.
That's it for the show today.